Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I groom and fill my brows. Now I do have two other videos on my brows. One is my everyday brow routine and the other one is my bold brow routine. And some things have changed. I no longer use the Maybelline pencil unless I'm rushing out the door. I do use my Wet n Wild brow kit every single day, and I now use this pencil from Anastasia. And in those videos, I didn't show you how I groom them. This is something that I don't do every day. But when I feel like my brows are getting a little too thin, I do kind of start over by letting them grow and doing what I'm going to show you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get started. So the first thing that I like to do is grab a tissue and wipe off any excess moisture there may be on my brows from my moisturizer. I feel like if I don't do this, when I go to grab the hairs, they slip. Now I'm going to take a spoolie, and if you don't have a spoolie, feel free to use any old mascara wand that you have. Just make sure that it doesn't have any product. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush my brows downward. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to go ahead and use my brow product. And I'm going to kind of carve out where I want my brows to be. And now I'm going to take my brow product of choice, and I like to use the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Kit along with this paintbrush from Michael. The exact name to this brush will be listed down below if you're interested. And I'm just going to focus on the darkest color. I usually mix the two when filling in my brows, but just for the outlining, I'm going to use the dark one. And as you can see here, what I did was that I just outlined the top part and the bottom part. This is where I would like my brows to be. So you're going to go a little above and a little below, and that's going to serve as your guide. Oh, and I also just put a little bit here so I know how far to remove from here. So again, I'm going to brush my brows down. And begin creating the guide. So that's about where I want my brow to be. And now I'm going to brush my brows upward. And I'm going to lift my brows so that I see how low I want to go. And I want mine about there. And then I'm going to put just a little bit right here. I'm going to trim the top a little bit right now just so that I can see better because they're a little long right now. Well, they're very long right now. Next, I'm going to take this grooming razor here, and I'm going to use it to remove all of the very, very thin hairs here. You can wax it if you want. I feel like waxing hurts a little too much for this area, and I'm so afraid of it getting on the rest of my brow that I'm just not even gonna go there. So I'm going to take the razor and just pass it softly in a downward motion just to remove all those very fine hairs. And you're going to stop at about there, right above the brow. And now I'm going to go ahead and pluck out all of the hairs that are below the guide that I set for myself. And I'm going to pluck them in the direction of the hair growth. Removed all of the hairs from the bottom and the top, I'm going to take a wipe and remove all of the brow powder I applied. While my brows are still wet, I'm going to brush them upward and trim the top. Make sure to stay away from your actual brow. Just trim whatever goes above the brow. To fill in my brows, I'm going to use the same kit I just used for my guide, but I'm going to use this brush instead, and this one is from Anastasia. And the reason I like this brush is because the brush part is a little smaller than the one that I just used, and it's a little thinner. See? And on the other end, there's a spoolie. I like to dip my brush on both of the colors, but if I'm working with this part of my brow, I like to put more of the darker color. So I'll go like this, and the last color that I put will be the darker one. Tap off the excess. I'm going to brush my hairs softly down, and I'm going to begin just above the hairs. When I get to about this point, I just curve my brush down. To do the bottom part, I just brush my hairs upward. Make sure not to brush against this because then you're gonna have the powder above your brows, and it's going to look messy. Now I like to begin doing my brows at about here. And again, I'm going just below the brows. Okay, so that's about where I want my brows to be. I will go back in and clean it out a little better and maybe fill in some gaps. But right now I'm going to start with the front part, and for that I'm going to use mostly this color here. So I'm going to tap here and then just a little of the darker one. And I'm just going to press it very lightly. Like that. The reason I like the lighter color here is because I don't want it to look too boxed. So the lighter color here makes it look a little more natural. So I'm just tapping it on. Pick up a little more and do the same to the bottom. And then a little to the outer part. And then with whatever's left over, I just bring it across to fill in the gaps. And then I'll brush it out to see if I can find any spaces that need to be filled in. And there you have it. This is my filled brow, and this is my unfilled brow. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this one off camera, and I'll be right back. And here are my finished brows.